This is a good way to, like I said, break the ice.
Okay.
It's called the needs.
Okay.
And then number 2 is the presentation. Okay, step 2 is the presentation. Okay, presentation has to consist, like I said, this is the way I've been trained. Presentation has to have at least 75 to 100 questions.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, because you're there to create a need and to disturb the client.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you want to get them to see, wow, you know what, I'm overworked and underpaid. Yes, I do need to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, if you ask the right questions, they're going to come to a realization that, you know what, I do need to make more money.
Okay.
Or and then create a need. You know what, the services that you're providing, you know what, I need those services. I need the investments. I need the life insurance. Yes, I do like to get a quote on the car insurance. Makes sense. And yes, I like to share this information with somebody else. Those that makes sense in a minute. Okay. And step number 4 is going to be closing. So what are we going to close? When I get to a client's home, I kind of get to kind of judge my atmosphere, see what type of people they are. You know, kind of using the STAR program.
Okay.
Hopefully, you've been through the STAR seminars. And I kind of get to find out what type of people they are, if they're ambitious or not ambitious. Sometimes you can tell these people they're just not going to come on board, but they'll make great clients.
Okay.
See what I mean? But I always really shoot for the recruit, because if you go for the recruit, you'll miss with the sale.
Okay.
Makes sense? I always shoot for the recruit first, and then I go for the sale.
Okay.
Okay.
Recruit, right.
Okay. So in closing, what am I there to close? I'm closed there to either pick up an IBA. I'm either going to close on the life, auto and home, or the investments. And those 4 things. That's step number 3. And that'll take place in my presentation, which I'll show you. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes.
That's right. Okay.
It's very quick. It's kind of fast, but it has a lot of questions.
Okay.
Okay. Step number 3 is closing. And then step number 4 is going to be referrals. Okay. Referrals. I always get referrals. I want to get referrals, because if I leave without any referrals, then we just cut the string on the rope, on the string, and
business flow. You just
now you're out there prospecting again in the core market instead of staying in the warm market. Make sense?
That makes sense.
So you're gonna see those step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, and step number 4 in a very short 15 to 20 minute presentation.
Okay.
Okay. So let me do this right here. Let me get into it. Most people say, well, what kind of presentation do you use? Honestly, you could give me a paper app. You can give me a paper app, a paper presentation, and it'll come out the same way.
Okay.
Okay, it's really not so much about the presentation. It's about how you presenting it, and really you being excited, smiling,
Yes.
making the person feel, like they're special,
Right. Okay.
and things like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use, for example, let's say I'm training Dell,
Okay.
and I'm here to speak with you because you're a good friend of hers.
Okay.
And you're gonna see, let's say I called you from a referral standpoint to train her,
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Okay.
because she joined the business, right? She joined the business, and let's, for example, I'm training her because you're gonna get her top 25 from people, right?
Right. Right.
Right. So how do you now I'm kind of reverting back.
That's okay. Okay.
You see what I mean? Like I'm training her.
You're training Dale. Okay. Okay.
And so I'm gonna go like this, and I'm gonna just put it right here. Okay. So let's see here. I'm training Dale and Janet. So I always put the client's name on my piece of paper simply because I tend to forget people's names.
Right.
Am I the best at it?
Yes.
No, I'm not. I'm not the best at it. But I like to mention people's names
Right.
and things like that. So Janice, I want to thank you for allowing me to be here this morning. I know I got to meet your great friend Dale. She's incredible. I'm training her. She's getting her state license. I'm just really excited to be here. And when I asked her if she knew anybody that would want to help her through training, she mentioned you.
Oh.
Because you're a great friend of hers, and go way back. Is that correct?
Yeah, we do.
How long have you known Dale?
Oh, 17 years.
Wow, that's a
maybe.
long time.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So tell me, Janice, a little bit about yourself. What do you do for a living?
Okay. Well, actually, I had the blessed fortune of being retired, but I'm
Really?
looking to about doing a business or
Really?
maybe trying to do
So
some real estate.
So you keep your options open then.
I do.
Okay, perfect. Well, since I'm here, my respect to you. Since I called you just for training purposes for Dale. Would you mind if I was to talk to you about making money? I mean, would you be offended if I did?
No, of course. course not.
Really? No?
No.
Even though I'm training her, the biggest beneficiary here could be you.
Okay.
Because, I mean, our business is expanding. You see where I'm heading? I'm already going to recruit her. You see that? And that recruit will eventually become a client. You see that? So tell me, what do you enjoy doing on your, now that you're retired, what do you enjoy doing like with the family, or, I mean, just tell me a little bit what you do.
Actually, just being able to be there for family or take care. I had, I guess the most joy, I had an aunt that was 102 when she passed, and had the opportunity in the last 10 years that I've been retired to be able to help her and to go back and forth out of town and do those kinds of things. So helping and
awesome.
Making plans to.
Now, so you're not working right now then, right?
Do I need to be working now?
Let's say you are. Let's say you're working part-time somewhere.
Okay. Yes, I'm working at actually with AT&T. I do
part-time
a little bit part-time.
Okay,
yes.
perfect.
Okay.
So let me ask you a question. What will you alter or change about your current job? If you could change your boss, your pay, more time off, what would you change about your job?
Oh, actually, would probably be my time off, the hours, and my time
okay.
off. Yes,
perfect.
I wouldn't go in on Mondays.
Awesome.
Okay, and sometimes we have to work Saturdays.
That's good. That's good.
I don't like that.
Let me ask you a question. When it comes to making decisions, who's the decision maker around the house?
Well, should I say my husband?
You and your husband, whatever you want to say.
Okay. Let's say my husband.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question. So, and that could be common. Right, sometimes most marriages say 50-50. So Janice, let me ask you a question. If you were to make a decision that will benefit your family, especially on a way to make more money and help relieve your husband on some bills, could you make that decision if it was a great decision for your family, especially if it came to making more money? Would you be able to make that decision?
Sure.
I think so too, right? See, now I took her from saying just her husband making a decision to turning it to her to make a decision, because I don't want her to tell me at the end of the year, well, I gotta talk to my husband. No, you told me earlier that you can make a decision if it came to making more money, it will benefit your family. That's the decision maker. Now, Janice, what if I had a solution? That's the yes. If I had a solution for you that you could make more money part-time, help your husband out on some bills, but you still have a lot of free time. If I had a solution for you, would you take a look at it?
Yes, sure.
You would?
I would.
Man, I am so great that Dale have brought me here. It's great to meet you. Me personally, go to a 30-second to a 1-minute story about yourself. I started this business part-time 14 years ago, simply because I wanted to make extra money. Lo and behold, that I realized that this was going to be my career. I turned this into a career because I like the idea of being free. I like the idea of making money. I like the idea that eventually I can make enough money and retire my spouse, retire my mom, and that just gave me a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here.
Okay.
You see that? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a couple of things that I do, and we're just going to finish up here in about 15 minutes. Is that okay with you?
That sounds
perfect. So great. So let me get my presentation piece, which I should have had ready already. But let me let me go right. Where's my iBooks? What happened here? I just used it last night. Here we go. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you what we do, how we do it, and how it could benefit you. So those are the 3 things that I'm going to cover with you this morning. Is that?
All right.
Okay, perfect. That's my Spanish presentation. I should have had my English one, and it's right there. So I'm just gonna skip around. I don't know what. I'll go right here. All right. So Janice, what I do is I strictly work by referrals.
Okay.
The reason I'm here is because Dale recommended me to come and speak with you. So I strictly work by referrals, and that's how a business is conducted, just by referrals. It's about you meeting somebody that takes you to go see somebody else, that takes you to see somebody else. Okay? Earn people's business. What I do is I take a look at their finances. I take a look at the different programs that a family could have. And if our programs are better, which I'll show you what those programs are, if our programs is better, we're gonna ask to conduct business. Simply because I feel like if a person has enough common sense to see that my services are better, I'd feel like they should switch over. So I only work by we wanna earn people's business. I'm not gonna just ask for it, I'm gonna earn it. And then expansion. Our business is going through a tremendous amount of expansion here in the Houston area. And you could be one of those expansion that we're looking for, a person that is ambitious and outgoing and wants to make more money. And it sounds to me like you could be one of those candidates. Okay. So a little bit of about our company. Primerica was founded in 1977. with about 100, with 85 people. Today, Primerica has over 100,000 representatives. It's a huge corporation. 6 million clients in United States, Canada, and Puerto Rico. So we've been all over the place. We're all over 50 states.
Okay.
The largest financial services marketing organization in North America. So we market financial services. We market other companies' financial services. And you'll see here in a moment exactly what those are.
Okay.
And then we're listed in the New York Stock Exchange, means that we're a credible company, have a great reputation, and like I said, we're growing tremendously.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
So, a couple of things that I think I feel you need to know. 6 out of 10 workers are living from paycheck to paycheck. Right?
Yes.
There's a lot of people right now that are living from paycheck to paycheck, and that's why I'm not necessarily saying they'll living paycheck to paycheck, but she wants to make more money.
Yes.
By
Okay.
helping people.
Okay.
Make sense?
Right.
And now it says, look what it says for me. It says here, more than what?
Half
What?
Americans have no emergency savings.
Why is that, Janice? Why do people don't have emergency funds?
Because, well, it takes all their money just to pay their bills and to
Because they live in paycheck to
live.
paycheck. Would you agree?
Mhm.
So if they live in paycheck to paycheck, they can never have enough money. Would you agree?
Right.
The next check that's coming is already what? Spent.
Spent.
And the one that's coming is already what?
Spent. Mhm.
Okay. What does it say right here? 60 million of what?
Americans have no life insurance.
Wow. And now think about this. We're in the city of Houston. Do you think people have life insurance outside of work? What do you
I
think?
would think so.
No, okay. So now outside of work, not through work,
Oh,
outside
okay.
of work.
No, probably not.
Probably not. So
Mhm.
think about this, Janice. If people don't have life insurance outside of work,
Mhm.
when they pass away, because there's a guarantee that we are gonna what? Die.
Die.
So
Mhm.
if we don't have life insurance outside of work, there's a lot of people without life insurance. Would you agree?
Well, yes.
That means there's a huge market.
Okay.
Would you agree?
Yes, yes,
Huge
yes,
market,
yes.
especially in the Latino community, in the African American community.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people without life insurance, and that excites me. You know why? Because there's a lot of need for us.
Okay.
And I need people like you to partner up with me so I can train you on a part-time basis. You can get a license like the one I have, and you can help people in your community.
Oh, really? 'Cause
And
I
you
like
can,
helping.
oh, you're gonna do the awesome here.
Okay.
You see that? So let me show you what I do, and I'll be done here in a couple of more minutes, okay? So what I do is have you heard of a 401k?
Yes.
You have? Did you have a 401k before
I
at your
did,
job?
I
And
did.
what did you do with it?
Well, actually, I left it there.
Oh, you left it there.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. And so no one has ever talked to you about maybe privatizing that 401k, eventually making it rolling it over so you can start making some higher interest and getting a better rate of return and getting like a monthly check off of that.
No.
I'm gonna talk to you about that maybe after I'm done. Okay.
Okay,
So
okay.
there, I'm fishing for business there.
Okay.
I have a rollover already there.
Okay,
You see
okay.
what I mean?
Mhm.
I asked her if she had any 401ks and stuff like that. That's important to know. So, have you heard of an IRA?
Yes.
You have?
Actually, we have an IRA.
You do? With what company?
Fidelity.
Oh, perfect. They're a great company, okay? So what I'm going to do is IRAs. I open up IRAs for people. See, you have a 401k, you have an IRA, but other people don't.
Oh,
See, you
okay.
could get a license with us and make great income doing this by opening up IRAs for people so they can start saving money for their future. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I also do college funds. Now, me, myself, I spent over $70,000 for my school for engineering. However, I'm not an engineer. I mean, I used to be an engineer, but not anymore. I've been doing this business for 14 years, but what I do is I open up college funds for families that would like to send their kids to college. Does that make sense? Now, think about this. Is college education cost going down or going up?
Up.
It's going
Yeah,
up.
it's really
So
going
do
up.
people need to save money for college?
Sure.
Absolutely. That's some of the things that you could be doing with us. Now, have you heard of an annuity?
Yeah, I don't typically like those.
Okay,
I have heard of
okay,
it.
you probably heard some negative stuff about it, but there are also some really good positive things about it. But those are another services that I conduct, and it's another way of making income, it's another way of helping families.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so from this investment right here, I'm gonna show you that money is popular, would you agree?
Yes.
Money is always in season.
Mhm.
We've been taught that our money should be taken where?
To the bank.
To the bank. Now, what is the business of the bank? What business are they in?
To lend money. Or
Lend money.
Mhm.
The banks are in the lending business, right? When you're gonna buy a house, who lends you the money?
The bank.
When you're gonna buy a car, the bank. When you get credit cards, the bank. They lend everything. Now,
Okay.
whose money are they lending? Whose money are they lending?
It probably would be mine, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. So think about this. We all been taught to take our money to the bank. Now the bank lends it out to the favor of who? Whose favor? Whose
Theirs.
Theirs.
Mhm.
So you take all our hard work, our money, and we've been teaching our family and our kids to take our money to the bank. When are we going to win the money game, knowing that the bank is not there for us, they're there for themselves? When are we ever going to get rich? Never.
Never.
Would you agree?
Never.
Never.
Yeah.
See, what I want to teach you is...
Actually, Mr. Hugo.
Yes, go ahead.
You know, I don't do the bank, I just do the credit union, you know, so I've always taught the credit union is better than the bank.
Okay, so what business is the credit union in, though?
Oh, I guess they would still be, when you think about it, they still do the same thing, right?
It's a credit union,
Mhm.
right? They're still in the
Okay.
lending business. How else are they gonna make money? So what I wanna teach you this morning is that we take our money to the global economy and we invest people's money with great corporations like Google, Facebook, Apple, General Electric and conglomerates, Comcast, Walmart, Disney, McDonald's. Have you heard of those companies before?
Yes.
They're always making money. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Oil and gas companies are always making money regardless. So that's what we teach people. We teach our clients to take their money and invest in the global economy.
Okay.
Okay? Now I can teach you that on a part-time basis though. You know, and make great income.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
By
it
helping
does.
others, because you told me you wanted to help others, right?
Yes, right.
Well, how would you like to help others and get paid for it?
Well, that sounds
That,
good.
that sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
It does.
That's exactly why, you know, I appreciate Dale so much. And that's why the reason she brought me over here.
Thanks, Dale.
You know, that's amazing, right? So that's one of the things that I do is I do investments, okay? The other thing that I do is I do car insurance, okay? Now, let me ask you a question. Is there a lot of cars in Houston?
Oh, of course, they're
So
all
think
over the place.
they're all over the place, right? We get frustrated with traffic. Now let me ask you a question. If there's a lot of cars in Houston and I do car insurance, you could potentially also do car insurance. Does that mean is there a very small market or there's a big market because there's a lot of cars?
Big.
There's a big market. So there's a big market in investments, there's a big market in car insurance. Would you agree?
Yes.
Now I'm gonna show you, I'm not the best drawer, but I'm gonna show you a little diagram here that I actually made up myself, okay? This is a Maybelline car, would you agree?
Oh,
Okay, this is
I
my
have
car.
to, 'cause you
All
said
right,
it is, okay.
right, it's a car.
Okay.
Now, Primerica is not the insurance company when it comes to car insurance. Primerica has developed a platform of many credible A+ rated car insurance companies, like which ones? Like Progressive, like Titan Insurance, Nationwide, Hartford, Century 21, Safeco, Travelers, E-Insurance, Hartford. You probably heard of those recognized companies or what they call A+ rated companies. What they do is, if you were to qualify to be part of our business, then you can sit down with different clients. Let's say this client is paying $300 a month on their car insurance. You get them to call our 1-800 number so they can find out to see if we can give them a better quote. Let's say this client goes from $300 with Allstate to Nationwide. Okay, they go from $300 a month to $225 a month. Would the client switch over?
I would.
Exactly. So that makes our business impossible to fail. Would you agree? Now, not everybody that calls gets a discount. Now, out of 10, maybe 3 or 4. But that's just the way it works. Either way, the client wins. Janice, you know why? Because if the client doesn't switch over because their price is lower, they got peace of mind. Would you agree?
Yes.
They got peace of mind that they have the best insurance out there, or they found out that there's another insurance company that can give them a better quote, same coverage. In fact, it could be even better coverage at a lower price. Does that make sense? So let me ask you a question. If you were to get paid about $50 every time a client switches over, would that be a good thing or a bad thing?
That would be a good thing.
You know, the phone call takes about 8 to 10 minutes and you don't do anything but dial the number. And you get paid $50 for that.
Okay.
Amazing, isn't it? Again, there's a huge
To work
market.
all day to make $50
That's
on
how
my
that,
part.
yeah, you see? Now that's if you were, let's say you're working part-time, $10 an hour, that's 5 hours worth of work. Here you're making about 10, 15 minutes, and you didn't do anything but dial the number. Is that pretty amazing or
That's
what?
right.
You
Yes,
see,
yes.
that's why Dale joined
that
the
what
business.
Dale's do? Oh.
Exactly, okay? And then I'm gonna finish off with this. Now, I'm gonna finish off, obviously, I'm pretty sure an individual like you that have already grown kids, I'm pretty sure you have life insurance. My question to you is, who do you currently have your life insurance with? You heard that before?
MetLife.
Have you heard that before in training?
Yeah, most definitely.
Right?
Most definitely. That's what, who do you currently have life?
Right.
Outside of work.
Yes,
that's
so
what
who do you currently have your life insurance outside of work with?
With MetLife.
Oh, MetLife, oh, the little Snoopy, right? Oh, and how long have you had them?
Oh, 20 years.
Oh, okay, that's perfect, that's great. Let me ask you a question. Is your life insurance, because we provide life insurance as well, but let me ask you a question, Janice. Is your life insurance have some type of savings, or is it pure term protection, or do you know?
Yeah, it's supposed to, it has a savings.
Like they sell it to you like as a retirement, future retirement, or just general savings, or?
Just general savings.
Just general savings? Okay,
Mhm.
perfect, perfect. Well, you know,
Where I have to borrow from it or
okay,
something like that.
okay, perfect. That's great. So now I already found out that she has life insurance, and she probably has the wrong kind. I know that she has the wrong kind. She's gonna become a client, but I want to recruit her 1st, and then I'm gonna switch you over.
Okay.
Make sense? So look, I'm gonna tell you a little diagram. I know these are stick figures, but it's gonna make a lot of sense, Janice. Let me tell you why. This is a family with 2 kids, okay? And I'm gonna put a home right here. Okay, I'll go back and explain this off the camera, off the recording.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Now, let me ask you a question. Do most people insure their cars?
Yes.
They do. Now, we insure our cars, but our cars makes us no money. Would you agree?
That's right.
Our home, we insure our homes. Would you agree?
That's right.
But our home, our primary residence, does not make us any money. Would you agree?
Agreed.
Okay, let's say this is a husband of this spouse.
Mhm.
Okay, not necessarily, I'm not saying it's your husband, but somebody else's husband.
Okay.
Okay, what is the likelihood of this gentleman having life insurance outside of work? The likelihood?
No.
Probably not, okay? So if this person has no life insurance, but this husband does work and he does make money,
Mhm.
is there a problem if he does not have life insurance?
Yeah, because I mean, something could happen to him.
Okay, if this person, if this gentleman dies, then what is the wife gonna do with the 2 kids with hardly a lot less income? How is she gonna be able to pay for the house, and how is she gonna be able to pay for the car?
It probably would be hard.
Which-
Right,
exactly.
right. Mhm.
So would it make sense for this husband to have life insurance?
Yes.
What if you can help people out there on a part-time basis to do this? Now, you have life insurance, that's great,
Mm-hmm.
but not other people. Does that make sense?
Yes,
What if
yes.
you could, with what you know right now about the importance of having life, what if you can teach others to have life insurance, and you get paid between $300 to $750 per transaction, in between there?
Really?
What if you can do this part-time?
Oh,
What
that
if you-
sounds, I mean, I wanna know more. Tell me
Absolutely. What if you can get licensed with us? Now, the license costs $99.
more. License.
Right? Dale's in the process of going to class. Maybe y'all can team up and go to class together.
Oh.
Okay? Now the license costs the license costs more than $99, Janice.
Okay.
But here $69 is for the class and a $30 background check, because we have to run a background check on you. Okay? But this is what I do on a part-time basis.
Mhm.
You see that? Part-time.
Okay.
No boss.
Mhm.
You work your own schedule. You can work whenever you want to, and you can make however much money you want.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, now you don't get to work by yourself. Now I can also build a team around you, so you don't have to work by yourself.
Mhm.
Because see, what you can do is you can get a license with us,
Yes.
work with us part-time,
Mhm.
okay? But then you can have other people around you. Let's say you brought me on board.
Okay.
You talk to me about this business, making part-time income, and I get licensed with you.
Okay.
Now, if I make money part-time,
Mhm.
you also make money from a transaction that I made.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? Let's say I made $300
Okay.
because you brought me on board, right?
Mhm, mhm.
But I got paid $300 on a transaction, but you got paid 150 off of that.
Okay.
Would that be a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it'd be a good thing.
It'd be a good thing. I mean,
Okay.
because right now at your job you have a boss above you, right?
Yeah.
That makes more money than you,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay,
Yes,
then
yes.
there'll be nothing wrong. I get paid at my contract level. You will get paid at your contract level, but because you
Okay.
brought me on board, you got paid extra money for that.
Okay, because I thought that's kind of sounding kind of fishy, like, they
Okay.
talk about those.
Well, think about real estate. There's
Mhm.
agents and there's brokers. Would you agree? There's
Uh-huh.
agents
Mhm.
and there's brokers, right?
Mhm.
The broker basically recruits agents around that broker, right? And
Right.
every time the agent makes money, who also makes money?
Well, the broker does.
The broker. Guess what? In our business, you can be an agent and you can be a broker.
Oh, okay.
You can do
Okay,
both
So I
at
get
the
to decide.
Well, you can do
Okay,
both.
Okay.
You do
okay,
both at the
okay.
same time. When you're providing a service,
Uh-huh.
you're acting as the agent.
Okay.
When you are bringing another person on board, then you're the broker.
Okay.
Does that make
That
sense?
that makes
You
sense.
see,
All
and
right.
this is what I call building a business on a part-time basis, and I'll be able to help you.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, now I'm done with this. I
Okay.
want to answer any questions before. Don't stop it yet.
That's okay.
I'm finished with what I wanted to show you. Now
Okay.
let me ask you a question. What questions do you have that maybe I've not, maybe I've forgotten to answer for you? I know I'm very thorough, but I want to ask, what questions do you have? Maybe something that is not clear. What questions do you have for me?
Okay. Well, you talked about the 401k
Mhm,
and,
yeah.
kind of rollover,
Yes.
how would that work?
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. We're gonna talk about this in a moment,
Okay.
but I want to know. Would you be earlier in my presentation? You told me that you were open to making more money.
Okay. Yes.
Remember that?
All right. Okay.
So my question to you is, if you're really eager to make more money part-time, my question to you is, when would it be the best time to get started and get licensed and get going to start making money? I'm gonna talk to you about this, not a
later.
problem.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna talk to you about this. I'm not gonna forget about this.
Okay. Okay.
Okay? But I wanna know, would Janice be open to making more money with us?
Sure.
You would?
Yes, okay, so I guess,
Okay.
you know, so how would that, so what's the process like? Or
That's
when would I
exactly
get
what,
started?
that's exactly what I'm
Okay.
gonna do.
Okay.
So, you told me, I asked you right now, when it comes to making money, when is the best time to get started?
Now.
Now, so what I'm gonna do, with your permission, I'm gonna collect a little bit of information from you, and I'm gonna go ahead and upload the electronic paperwork to
Okay.
our home office, so they can start running the background check, and we can get you a class and all that good stuff. Is that fair?
That's
Would you
fine.
allow me to go ahead and move forward with that?
Sure, sure.
Okay, so watch this. So I type in all the information and everything. So Janice, obviously you know about the $99. My question to you is, would you like to use a debit card or credit card for that?
Okay, credit card.
Credit card?
Mhm.
Perfect. So now people say, well, I don't. You'll get maybe some objections.
I'm trying to get it so we can get the flow first before getting all the objections.
Okay.
Because I have a lot of those that.
That's fine.
You know, that we could kind of.
Okay. So and then I just collect your information and upload it, and I'm done.
Mhm.
That's it.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay.
You're on board. That's no. You say, is it really that easy? Yes, it is really that easy, because you have to come across polished,
Mm-hmm.
that you know your material,
Mm-hmm.
and if you think it's a challenge, it will be a challenge.
Okay.
If you think it's gonna be smooth sailing, more times out of none, it will be smooth sailing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Makes
Okay.
sense?
Yeah.
But if you're always with that type of mentality, man,
Yeah.
guess what? Every person you find is gonna be that way, because you're attracting it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So anyways, that's my simple
Okay.
presentation.
Okay,
So we can
okay.
either stop it right there, or you can continue to record and go over any objections you may have.
Okay, I see how you scroll apart. Now, we didn't get to, how did you address the part with the life insurance? Because you said you just found out that I had
Okay,
some or
so
didn't have some.
so why did I not go, now,
Because you're gonna recruit, yeah. I know
I'm
you-
gonna recruit you first.
Right, and then that
And
will
then,
be your first sale.
right,
Okay.
now you're on board, that's not a
Uh-huh.
problem. There may be a day or two or three that passes by.
Right.
And then we're gonna address your life insurance.
Okay.
I'm not gonna address it that same night.
Right.
I'm gonna
Okay.
overwhelm you with information.
Okay.
Make sense?
Okay.
I just know that I have a guaranteed life close there.
Right, right.
I just know that. And I have a guaranteed
It's
slam
a
dunk 401k
investment there. Right.
Why? Because I'd rather get you on board first.
Right, right.
You see that? Because if I try to close you and they try to recruit you, I came across as a sales guy.
That's right, okay, and so you kind of have to be patient, you're
I
kind
do,
of,
yeah,
and you're
absolutely.
identifying those things.
Yeah.
Now, let's say back, if you guys have any questions, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what if they didn't want to be recruited? What if they said, they wasn't looking for? Then what do you do?
Okay, so let's say, so Janice, any questions on regards to what I covered today? So we're gonna go, let's say we're gonna go in the other direction, and Janice just doesn't see herself, just make sure you stay stern, because I'm gonna ask you some questions.
Stay what?
Stay stern
Stern,
on the
okay.
no,
Okay, that's probably hard, okay.
okay?
All right.
I need you to, and I mean,
Okay.
be stern on it, because
Okay.
more than likely, I don't wanna overpower you.
Okay,
Don't allow me.
okay.
So Janice, earlier you told me that you were open to making more money. I've shown you what I've shown you. My question to you is, when it comes to making money, when would it be the best time to get started?
Oh, well, I'm too busy right now, there's so many things that I'm into.
Yeah.
So, maybe 6 months down.
Okay,
somewhere.
but you told me earlier you're only working part-time.
Well, yes, I can, just a little bit, I don't have
Okay,
to do
so-
too much, and it's easy work, I don't have to think
So,
about it.
so tell me, out of 168 hours, you work part-time. You can't tell me you can't find 5 to 8 hours a week to get ahead financially?
Well, I could find that, but it's
Yeah.
not something that I want to do right now.
Oh, so the business aspect is just an appeal to you. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I don't like going to people's houses.
I
and
understand.
and meeting with them here. I just go to the job, sit in my little cubicle, do what I need to do. And,
That's not a
and
problem.
that's it.
That's not a problem. Look, if the money making aspect doesn't appeal to you, earlier you did tell me you had a 401k with a previous company that is still there,
Mhm.
and then you also told me that you had life insurance with MetLife. Is that
Right,
correct? And then you
right.
told me that insurance had some type of savings. Would you agree?
Right,
Okay.
right.
Let me ask you a couple of questions on that. Let me ask you a question. If I could put a better program for you and your husband that would be more cost effective,
Mm-hmm.
and it will make better sense, would you at least take a look at it? I mean, if it made better sense.
Sure, I would
I mean,
take a look at it.
I'm not asking you to switch over. I'm just
Right.
asking you to look.
Yeah,
Does
it
that make
doesn't
sense?
hurt to look. It doesn't
Absolutely
cost you
not.
anything to
So
look.
now, you see, I'm going for the life close now.
Right, because, yeah.
I'm gonna leave the recruit side. I'm gonna leave her. Now I don't wanna put a bad taste in her mouth, where I come across so overpowering, where she might not like me then, because I don't want to ruin the relationship, and I want the life close. I want that investment now, because I'm seeing that, hey, she's not gonna come on board. That's fine with me then. I'm going to sell. You see that? So Janice, let me. I'm gonna show you a couple of things. You had MetLife for a while. Is that correct? Now you said you had a savings built up with it or something like that. Is that correct? Have you gotten a statement lately? Do you know how much money you have saved?
No, I really don't. I don't know how much. Unfortunately, no, I don't know how much is in there.
Wow. So how does it make you feel that over 20 years you've had a policy and you don't know how much you have saved? How does that make you feel?
I guess I should have done something different, huh?
You should have. But you know what? You're gonna know now. You know why? Because I'm gonna help you.
Oh, okay.
If your plan that you have is so much better than mine, guess what I'm gonna ask you to do? Stay with your plan.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
That
But
makes
if my plan is better than what you have, I'm gonna ask for your business, and I think that will be fair, right? Because I wanna earn it,
Okay, that sounds fair.
right?
Right.
I wanna earn your business.
Right.
Only if it's better.
Okay.
Would you agree?
Right.
I think that's fair.
That can't hurt.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Now you may be past the first rule. Now I'm gonna go with the 5 funny bank rules. You know those.
And you
five.
can do yes, and you can back it up. I just said 20,
That's fine.
Yeah, okay.
You see what I mean? Now, and that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
I go over the 5 funny bank rules. I've taught you the 5 funny bank rules in training.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The zero.
Keep it it's 0 to
The first year through the fifth year,
year.
zero rate of
Right,
return,
right.
6%, 8% charge,
Mhm.
face value, cash value. So on the last one, the fifth one, I always say, so you have a face value. How much? By the way, how much coverage did you have?
100,000.
100,000. Okay, and you've had it for 20 years, right?
Yes.
This over the 20 years, you probably, let's say you have saved $15,000. I'm assuming. You may have more, you may have less, but
Okay.
this is the example, okay?
Okay.
Now let me ask you a question. What if your policy said something like this as rule number 5, that your beneficiaries would get the greater of the face value, which is your coverage, will get the greater of face value or the cash value. Your beneficiaries will only get one or the other, wherever which one is higher.
And that sounds like they're saying I'm not getting my both.
Well, you're not, because you passed away.
Well, yeah,
Right.
my family.
Your
I
family, right?
understand.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Right? Well,
yes.
people do say, okay?
Yes, they do.
But now, face value. So what if I tell you that your insurance company may keep your savings, but only give your beneficiaries the 100,000? How does that make you feel if your program worked like this?
I wouldn't like that.
You wouldn't like that?
No.
I wouldn't either.
No.
My question to you is, can you find your policy so we can review it? I just want to make sure that
We
when
go
I
get
leave,
that thing.
I
Yeah,
think so
we'll take a
too.
look. Mhm.
Because before I leave, I want to make sure that your program does not work this way. It may not, but then again, it may. Does that make sense? So I need you to go get this program. Okay? So she gets it, we look over it really quickly.
Right.
And we're gonna find some of these.
Right.
Okay? We're gonna find some of these. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the old plan, new plan. I said, well, look, Janice, you're covered for 100,000. How much is your life insurance? Yours.
$89.
$89. And your husband is covered for how much?
Was he not covered?
Yeah, well, he is covered, but he has a separate policy with MetLife.
Okay. 250.
$250. How much is his? How much are you paying for that?
150.
$150 a month. Okay, so that's what is that?
Oh, well, I should give it. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's
14.
let's say it's $80.
Okay.
So that's 508.
That's
No,
89.
no.
That's okay. 13.
That's
Okay.